C21 Investments Inc. is a vertically integrated cannabis company that cultivates, processes, and distributes cannabis and hemp-derived consumer products in the United States. With newly acquired operations in Oregon, C21's strategy is to acquire existing cannabis operations with management teams in place. The company's focus is to expand where it can wholly own indoor or outdoor cultivation operations, processing and extraction facilities, bakeries, branded products, and retail dispensaries with a large distribution network. C21 Investments Inc. is headquartered in Vancouver and trades on the CSC under the ticker symbol CXXI.
Hey, Ben.
Now we join Mr. Robert Cheney, CEO of C21 Investments. Robert, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Great. Now, I want to get right into some of the questions that we have here. Can you tell us what the current situation regarding your U.S. listing is, Robert? I understand that you did have a U.S. listing before, and it is currently not active. Can you tell us the situation with that and how you plan on regaining listing if that's in the cards?
Okay, so we've filed our 40F registration statement. That's been accepted. The lawyers are working on activating the trading symbol. It should be very shortly. We were delayed by the government shutdown. So now that that's over, it should be put in place quite soon. We'll start with the symbol activated. We'll file for DTC. And then we will list on OTCQB.
Great. Now, pivoting to some of your assets in the U.S., can you tell us, will the Silver State Relief and Phantom Farms revenues show up on your income statement in the next quarter? And additionally, do you have any plans for additional Silver State dispensaries, which, to my understanding, are doing pretty well right now?
Right. So our financial year end is January 31st. So we will have the Silver State, the Phantom, the Pure Green, and the EcoFirma revenues in Q1. Our Swell processing acquisition should close in March. And so part of their revenues will also show up in Q1. Yeah, in Nevada, we have an amazing vertically integrated business, and clearly the value of that business is not really being understood by the market or investors completely at this point. We have two of the finest dispensaries in the state, including the #1 dispensary in the state with 21 cash registers. We're serving approximately 50,000 customers a month at the current rate. It's a significant revenue producing business, and those revenues will show up in Q1.
Now, you alluded to the fact that you have tremendous cash producing businesses, but you're significantly undervalued at this stage of the game. Now, it's my understanding that a lot of people feel that way, anecdotally at least, that you're a deep value play. Now, why do you feel that your company is undervalued, and what measures are you taking to remedy that on the marketing side to get your messaging out?
Well, I do think investors, because we hadn't closed our deals, so because of that we didn't have any analyst coverage, and we weren't ranked in any of the rankings because we didn't own the facilities that we'd signed up. There's a few key reasons our stock I think has started to appreciate. One is that we closed our financing for $14.888 million in one of the difficult periods historically in the market. We've also closed, as I said, our key acquisitions, including the Nevada acquisition. That removes significant uncertainty from the market for investors. I think investors are starting to understand that we have the tightest cap table in the industry. So we have no 1 cent shares, no 2 cent shares, no promoter shares. So we have a very, very clean cap table. The locked up value of the Nevada assets, if we compare it to the November 13th acquisition by GTI of a very, very similar package of assets in Nevada, at today's share price, They paid 455 million Canadian dollars, 340 million plus US dollars for a package of assets that C21 paid $50 million for. They got 95,000 square feet of licensed cultivation and processing. We got 155,000 square feet. Our dispensaries are clearly the premier dispensaries in the state. If you look at the share price and you look at the cap table, investors do not understand this, I don't think, at this point. We're expecting to get some analyst coverage now, and I think the fact that we'll be reporting revenues and EBITDA in the coming quarters, and that we'll be expanding further with our branded consumer packaged goods, is going to drive investor interest. So we do think that the share price should start to reflect all of these factors.
Robert, Ed Molesky here.
Hey, Ed.
How many, just to remind the viewers, how many shares are there outstanding right now?
Right now, there are 62 million shares outstanding. We have no, as I say, we have no hidden classes of convertible shares.
Right.
So we have a very, very disciplined operation. Our acquisitions have been very disciplined. And the key point here is our major shareholders, including myself, I've never sold a share of this company since the day it was listed. Sonny Newman, my partner in Nevada, my partners in Phantom and Swell, they are my largest shareholders. And they're working with me day to day to build this into the premier cannabis company in the world. So they're all long.
So Robert, are you cashed up and ready for the acquisition arms race that's going on with producers down south right now? It seems like everybody, you have to have a war chest in this expansionary phase of the cycle to really keep up. Are you cashed up? And if not, what plans do you have to do so?
Well, obviously the liquidity in the market, you guys were just talking about the AFRI report. So post December, the market conditions have improved significantly. Given that we now have a large revenue and cash producing business in the United States, we're exploring debt facility opportunities because our team, which is a very, very professional team, is focused on building a business. We're not doing a stock promotion. So as I've constantly said to people, we will be disciplined. So I want to protect my cap table. So we're focused on debt opportunities, but we'll also look at equity opportunities if they're strategic and they make sense. In acquisitions, we do not blow our brains out. So we look for strategic acquisitions. We look to get them at fair valuation that will reflect value to my shareholders and investors on a long-term basis.
Hey, Robert, Ed here again. So are you allowed to comment as to what you think the revenues will be, say, over the next 12 months, approximately? Can you give a range, or are you precluded from doing that?
Yeah, we're not really allowed. In our news releases, we've given investors the trailing revenues for the businesses that we're acquiring. So if you look at the trailing revenues, we will be doing somewhere in the range of 50 to 70 million Canadian in top line revenue, assuming the markets stay consistent. We are looking for expansion opportunities, obviously, and we are expanding our Oregon brands into Nevada currently, and building out a stronger brand presence in Nevada. We are also actively developing plans to expand our brands into California, and we're looking at expanding CBD brands as open market brands now that the hemp farm bill has passed. So there are significant growth opportunities in front of us. The key is we have a disciplined team. We have great brands that can be leveraged when we have exceptional proven expertise in the business. These guys have been running these businesses for 10 years. They're not newbies. And I think if you take an analyst like John Kaga, who spoke recently about the importance of vertical integration, companies like C21 are starting to be really sought after and appreciated, because vertical integration gives you margin protection. It gives you brand presence, brand consistency, and proven management means you don't blow your brains out. So I think investor focus is turning to consumer packaged goods, brand value, and proven management teams, and C21 has all of those.
Yes, certainly it would appear that your, based on the number of shares you have and your market capitalization, yeah, your sales look, you know, and I've looked at a number of companies in the marijuana space. It looks like you're about as, you know, as low as there is. So it's quite an inexpensive company.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Ed, if you look at revenue per share in 2019, I would be surprised if C21 wasn't the #1 company in the sector.
Yeah.
We are going to generate a lot of revenue per share. I'm very, very disciplined on costs, so you won't see lawsuits over private jets or anything in C21. We run a very, very tight team. We're focused on creating value for shareholders. I put my money into this company at $1 a share, and I'm not selling a share. So the value's there, the team is there, and as you pointed out, there's more revenue per share in C21 than any company in the sector, I believe.
And Robert, finally, getting back to your financing question, you mentioned that you're open to procuring banking financing to or a debt facility to expand your operations. Now, this week, I believe we saw Village Farms and another small operator receive a debt facility as well, which was sort of a first in the industry. It had been basically reserved for the top tier companies in the space. Now, the question is, can you receive that debt facility? Do you think you can obtain it now, or do you have to wait for banking reform in the US to pass in order to try to get that debt facility?
There have been some fairly large debt facilities done in the US already, primarily with family offices. But the landscape is changing very, very rapidly, and we are seeing federally regulated institutions looking seriously at the space. So we believe it is a near-term opportunity. We're working on it now. And we think it's realistic in the current environment. Somebody in the United States will front run the market, just like the Bank of Montreal did in Canada, and we'd love that to be a C21 transaction. So that's what we're working on. So hopefully news coming.
All right, a terrific update. Thanks for joining us, Robert. We look forward to following your story going forward.
Thanks, Robert.
Well, thanks for having me, and you know, I hope all of your viewers and listeners will take a look at C21. We're a great company.